Hi guys, my name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as the Financial Bunny. Welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. Today I want to talk a little bit about overdraft versus credit card and why I personally prefer a credit card. Now, please do remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody that is certified and registered with the FSCA. It is very important though, before I tell you guys why my preference is of course the credit card, to make a mention that credit education is absolutely important. More than just credit education, understanding how facilities within credit work, that's going to be even more important for you to make a decision about which of these facilities is the one that is useful and ideal for your situation. Because it's not a person-to-person thing, it goes with what is the situation that you need this specific account for, the specific credit facility for. And I'll explain by differentiating between the two credit facilities. Let's start off with the credit card. A credit card is a personal line of credit, or you can get a business credit account, right? Now, basically what happens there is that the bank is giving you a facility which has got a limit on it that is revolving, that says that if you need to use a specific amount of money that you do not have, you can use our money. You just need to pay it back. And if you pass the grace period where we don't charge you interest, we're going to start charging you interest if you carry a balance over to the next billing cycle. That's basically what a credit card is. On the other hand, an overdraft basically is attached to your check account. And basically it says that if you find yourself in an instance where you need more than what you have in your check account, we will not allow it to become a bounce debit order or an unpaid transaction. We will honor the payment on your behalf, and you will then come back and pay us back for that. We will charge you interest on the amount additional that you owe, the amount that you needed to use that you did not have, and of course we'll charge you the bank account management fee and the interest rate on the amount. So essentially the difference between the two of them is the fact that the one, on the one hand, you would need to use the account, which is the credit account. On the other hand, it's already attached to your check account and you use it like that. But they do have a stark repayment difference. On the overdraft, you will always pay back as long as money comes into your bank account. So if you owe, for instance, minus 100 Rand and they put in 500 Rand into your bank account, it means that your total that you're going to have is probably going to be 390 something Rand, because the 100 Rand that you used was the bank's money. They will charge you back that 100 Rand plus the interest on the 100 Rand that you actually owe. On a credit card, in the other way, is if you use 100 Rand from the credit card and you pay it back before the end of the billing cycle, so you don't carry a balance over into the next month, they will not charge you anything. You will just pay back the 100 Rand that you used on the credit card. Where it becomes similar is that you will get charged interest on a credit card only if you start carrying balances over to the next month. Now, why this is important is when I look at my life specifically, I know there may be instances where I need a huge lump sum of money. So let's say during the month, I need an additional 30,000 Rand. I will go to the credit card and use the 30,000 Rand, knowing that I have invoices that are still going to come that I can cover that 30,000 Rand with. It allows me to be able to use money in advance that I don't have to pay for certain things. So let's say somebody wants to order books. They need, maybe they need 100 books. I can at least pay for those books, knowing that if they pay me back before the end of the month, or I have other invoices that are lined up before the end of the month, I can use that money to settle that account so that I don't get charged an interest. So essentially, I only pay back the money that I've used. Now, the problem is if I had the same similar situation on a check account where I had an overdraft, whether or not money comes into my bank account even before the billing cycle has been over, I'm still going to get charged on that account the interest rate or the interest that is going to be charged basically on the amount that I use. The other thing is the interest rates. Yes, in both instances, we do see that the interest rate is based on an individual. However, the problem in most cases is the fact that the overdraft account is usually got or attracts a higher interest rate than the credit account. And this is probably because, On an overdraft, most people generally don't necessarily need overdrafts. They do have them, but they don't really need them. And when they do use them, the bank tries to maximize how much money they can actually get from you. So they are far more short term than a credit card, for instance. The problem is that if you start getting used to an overdraft, you may potentially get stuck in it. In actual fact, I used to have somebody that I knew who was stuck in an overdraft. She actually had an overdraft of 30,000 Rand. She was sitting at minus 30,000 Rand, but her salary was also 30,000 Rand. So in every instance, she found herself using the overdraft every time to now fund her life. And it's hard sometimes to dig yourself out of an overdraft, because every time you almost actually need additional money to be able to use, to be able to pay off an overdraft. Or you need to cut out some things in your life so that in that month, you can at least cut out like 5,000 Rands worth of things that you're not going to do, so that you can actually start paying back that overdraft. Or else in general, you are always going to be in a negative. So it's important to make sure that you remember that. For me, the reason why I like the credit card is, and I guess because maybe I'm not a salaried individual, so in any month, how much I earn is very varied. And I know that I've got my invoices spread out so that at least every week there's a different payment that is coming in. So if I do need to use money in advance, knowing that I'm going to have a payment, an invoice is going to get paid. And yes, somebody say, but what if the invoice doesn't get paid? Generally, I've got more than one invoice that I'm waiting for to get paid. I will plan to say, just before the end of the month, I know that an invoice will be paid, and I can settle the account on the credit card without having to be charged any type of interest. And that for me is quite a big thing. I don't like paying interest. It just feels like it feels like hell, man, paying interest. I generally just don't enjoy it. So I try my level best not to pay it. Both of these facilities require a level of discipline. That's why I made a point of pointing out that on an overdraft, if you don't dig yourself out of the negative, you can literally live in an overdraft. I know people that live in an overdraft. Now, the problem with an overdraft also is that if you do decide, for instance, to sign yourself up for debt counseling or debt review, remember, according to debt review, you are no longer allowed to take up any type of credit facility once the debt review is gone to the magistrate and it's been legalized, right? Now, the problem with an overdraft is that that is a constant credit facility. So you would actually need to pay off the overdraft before you get into debt review, so that you don't actually, yes, you need to pay off that overdraft. So let's say, for instance, you're used to staying in minus 30,000 Rand. Your salary of 30,000 Rand comes in. You work, you eat into the minus for you to be able to pay for your living expenses. The problem is, when you go into debt review, the first 30,000 that goes in is going to cancel the overdraft. Well, you're still probably going to owe, because you're going to owe interest and account charges. And then it doesn't give you a facility after that. So for that month, you might not have any money to be able to live off. And that's why you need to be very careful about which facility you choose. Look at your own life. It's not about the fact that Nicolette likes a credit card over an overdraft. It's about looking at your own life, looking at how the facility works, and deciding which facility is better for you. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.